the great Mando experience is being reset right now. The beauty of live broadcasting. And first of all, I want to say welcome to Sticks and Sips. This is supposed to be the Mandalorian episode. This was supposed to be about Halloween. It's supposed to be about Day of the Dead. And listen, all great plans sometimes hit a snag, but we're going through. So I'm Frankie Drinks, and I'm here to guide you through the galaxy of Sticks and Sips and all the great guys we got joining us. We got Joe Jedi Grow joining us. We got Kylo Davis joining us, and we got Joey the Clown joining us. There we go. And I'm going to get this party started. So you guys saw the menu earlier, and listen, this is one of my man's favorite. I'm talking about like Jack Hayer, the infamous galactic pirate, and we're gonna do a special cocktail called the Spaghett. So if you guys were watching or reading Bon Appetit magazine back last year, they wrote an article about this cocktail, which
it's called Spaghett and Forget.
Forget and Forget. So and all it is basically you're taking an Aperol spritz, and you're putting it a little Aperol, little lime juice, and you're putting in a Miller High Life because this is a champagne of beers. So make sure you guys simplest cocktail you can make. Because it's gonna, it's a little orangey. So in honor of Halloween. So cheers to everybody out there that stuck with us through that rough opening. But hey, I say cheers to you. Cheers to all you galactic fiends, you scum and you villainous people that like to hang out at places like Mos Eisley, much like myself. And so welcome to Sticks and Sips. And this is our big, Halloween episode. So cheers to you guys. I'm gonna take a little sip.
Cheers, Frankie.
It tastes so good.
You know why they call it a spaghetti? Because that shit spaghetti you fucked up if you have a lot of them. So there's a riff on it as well called a Hobo Negroni, which you swap out the Aperol for the Campari. I may be doing one of those in a minute. Let me go to the Zoom right now and say hello to everybody. Let me start with Kylo Davis over there. How you doing, Kylo? That's you, Kyle.
No, I had an internet connection there.
All right.
Somebody froze there. I'm back, man.
You're back and with a vengeance. Return of the Kylo.
Revenge of the spaghetti over here.
All right, how you doing, brother?
Come back to me. Let my internet kind of re-kick.
All right. I got Mr. Joey Drew. What's going on, Joey?
What's up, everybody? I am in the mood. I'm in the mood for fun stuff. So let's bring it. Let's do it. That drink sounds terrible, though. Terrible.
I will tell you, it may sound terrible, but it is quite delicious. It is quite delicious. You can ask the child. He's 50 years old, but you can ask the child, and he loves it or she loves it. I'm not quite sure.
Is there going to be a gender reveal for him this or her?
I don't know.
Season?
So in a couple of days we're going to find out because the episode of The Mandalorian is going to pop on, and we're going to find out. So for those of you guys, yes, absolutely. So I'm going to listen. Best laid plans. I had my Mando mask ready to go. Didn't work out as planned, but hey, all good. All good. And next up, I got my man Joe Jedi Grow. Joe, how you doing, brother?
Hello there. Good. Having a good night, Frank. We're rocking. I'm enjoying the champagne of beers, and as was described in one of our hype videos, I am the champagne of Jedi, according to some people.
Listen, I can neither confirm nor deny that, but you definitely are, such an important cog in our gigantic wheel that is Drew Estate. And listen, why don't you show off that beautiful lightsaber lighter you've got kicking?
So take a look at this thing, fresh off the hottest streets of the Galaxy eBay, right to my doorstep. I think my compatriot here, Kylo, excuse me, has one of his own. These things, will melt down blaster doors, cigars, whatever you need.
Powered by it's powered by the butane kyber crystal.
Exactly.
Ooh.
I love the butane kyber crystal. So listen, tonight we're going to be enjoying some Deadwoods because, I started thinking about like, what would the Mandalorian smoke, right? And, I'm going to ask Joey, like, Joey, what would the Mandalorian smoke of all the things that we make at Drew Estate? What would be the one?
Well, I got to take it off because you probably can't hear. There we go. That's better. All right. So if I were the Mandalorian, being the bounty hunter, ruthless that I am, I only want the best for myself. I won't settle. Nope. I'm not settling for that drink. I'm a champagne man. That's where I'm champagne. But if I was going to do it, I would smoke a League of 10 Anniversario myself.
Of course you would, which is why pairing is such a complicated profession.
I'm still celebrating Rich Ly's birthday. So happy birthday continuing for Rich Ly.
There you go. So listen, I'm going to pick Deadwood because the Mandalorian is a space Western, and there's nothing that screams Western to me more than our Deadwood line. And I've got some leather rose here, which is amazing. And I think that with the flavor profile of it, with a Spaghett or a Hoba Negroni, it just fits the bill. So look, I'm going to go to my first guest. My first guest is Mr. Joe Groh. He is our digital marketing manager for Drew Estate. And we're going to speak to him. I'm going to put him on the front line because he's the guy that's talking to you guys through digital media every day. And but now I'm going to put him on the spotlight. So Joe, Jedi Joe, welcome to the show.
Thank you, my friend. You forgot my most important credit. Executive producer of Sticks and Sips. I'm the money.
I want to omit that part as much as I can. So, but absolutely, the executive producer for Sticks and Sips. He's the guy that makes this happen. So Joe, look, man, I'm going to ask you like a couple questions that you don't get a chance to get in front of our big crowd all the time. And I'm going to ask you, first of all, how did you get started in cigars?
Well, I mean, it's been quite a few years now. So I started in cigars much like a lot of people did. I was, smoked on occasion with buddies tailgating. I said, you know what? I want to order a few cigars. So I went online, went through Cigars International. I ordered the sampler. You get 10 cigars, the humidor, the lighter, the cutter, everything you need. And I proceeded to smoke a Toro in about 30 minutes and ended up, throwing up all over the toilet. Let's just say, it wasn't a pretty start to my journey here. But it was, I realized what I did wrong. I started reading about it. And eventually I got hooked up on Reddit, and there was a community of cigar smokers there, and started making friends, learning more about the hobby, visiting my local brick and mortars, and really falling in love with this product, this handmade tobacco product, and more importantly, the community that went along with it. So flash forward a couple years, I'm smoking cigars. We're having monthly herfs with guys local in the Philadelphia area. And then, I meet Anfan, who's on Reddit, and we actually go out to Chicago. We have a giant event out there, 50 guys that I've just only talked to online through via what was at the time Google Hangouts, and now much like Zoom. We were just doing this because we were across the country. And I got involved with Cigars for Warriors. I was on their social media board. And eventually I started working in a shop part-time because basically I was working remote. I was doing healthcare IT. And they said, do you mind just working here a little bit, because you're selling the cigars to customers anyway? Because I was a cigar geek. I love tobacco. I love knowing every single cigar in that humidor. Anything new came in, I had to smoke it. I had to try it just because I wanted to know. I wanted to see what could be my next favorite cigar. And eventually there was an opening here at Drew Estate. And, this was in 2017. I, applied for a social media position, digital marketing manager. And I applied. A couple months later, they said, "Hey, can you move down to Miami in 2 weeks?" I said, "Can you give me 3? Just so I can, pack up my life down here." So I put some furniture in storage. I packed up my car full of 3 things: cigars, my dog, and clothes. That was my numbers of importance. Drove down to Miami, and I've been here ever since, and I've been loving it.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Obviously we love having you as part of the team. So integral in what we do. So let people know a little bit more about what you do for Drew Estate as digital marketing manager.
So digital marketing manager, we handle a lot of different things, but really it's how do we talk to you guys like this? How do we talk to you, engage with our, our consumers, our customers, our friends, family, digitally. So that can vary from our social media, our website, the Drew Diplomat app. It's also, things like our advertising. It's how do we touch all the different guys and really get to know each other and get to know Drew Estate in this digital space. And it's been a lot of fun. I mean, really enjoying it. We've added Jack this year to the team, and as you can see, it's been tremendous. It's been a lot of fun on the digital side, and we're just rocking and rolling. We get to do things that are awesome, like this program here. We have our freestyle lives, and we have the upcoming Barn Smoker live. I mean, we put a lot of real effort and fun into what we've been doing, and I think everybody's really enjoying it.
Well, I will say as an ambassador for Drew Estate, much respect to what you're doing, putting us in contact with everybody that's out there. So listen, kudos to what you do for Drew Estate. We've got so many new things kicking off. Listen, I don't want to have you drop anything
Well, hold on. I mean, we can
ahead of schedule, but
we can
can we tease
here.
anything?
Yeah,
we got a teaser. Well, listen, we got a major premiere happening on The Mandalorian on Friday. What about Drew Estate? Do we have a little teaser for something?
Well, this is a little teaser. This shout out to our friend William Cooper. It's a little teaser, but some of you guys have heard rumors, but we are in the process of revamping and unleashing a whole new Drew Diplomat app. So it's coming down the pike. We want we want you guys getting excited for it, getting ready for it. It's going to drop in a little while to the current Drew Diplomat guys just to test it out, but it's coming. So we just want you guys to be ready and rocking. It's going to have all your cigars on there, all the things that we couldn't do before. We're going to be able to do that and start and really get excited. So yes, guys, you will be able to log your factory smokes soon enough. I know you've been begging for it. I've been talking to you guys in the groups. So we're rocking and it's coming. So just want to give you that little teaser, just a little tease.
Hey, don't we have something else? Don't we have something else? Isn't there like an event of some sort, a UF something or other?
Oh, that's tomorrow night. I mean, if we're talking teasers, I mean, Joey, I think you were doing a little teasing yourself on that. You want to talk about that for a second?
Well, I smoked a bunch of samples when I could, but now I'm all out of samples, so I have to go buy them like everybody else. So tomorrow night, is it?
I believe it is.
Oh, I got to get going. Got to get going.
UF something, I believe, or other. I'm not sure.
Something, and a hat and a lighter, some cool stuff.
One of a kind swag.
Listen, we got some major news drops going on. So you guys that are tuning in, you got a major informational release of what's coming up for Drew Estate, not only tomorrow night, but more importantly, down the road, we got the brand new Drew Diplomat app premiering. So you guys need to start getting involved, start getting in tune. We got everything coming for you. We're always on the bleeding edge of what's new. So, that's a big hats off to the entire marketing department, digital, just making sure that we're always coming up with something new for everybody out there. So,
Frankie,
Joe,
I thought you'd be taller.
I am.
You're a little short for a Mandalorian.
Yeah. Okay. That's nice.
Let it slide, people. I want to see.
Oh,
some
here it
crazy stuff in
goes.
the
Here it
comments.
goes. Here come the Star Wars knock. So thank you for leading me into that part. So Joe, how did you get into Star Wars, my man?
Oh man, I've been a Star Wars junkie since I was a kid, and that started even. I still remember I was 5 years old watching TV, and all of a sudden I see Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru's burnt corpse on TBS, and I'm like, "What is this?" But it freaked you out for a second. Then you're like, "Okay," and then you get into it, and I'm watching A New Hope, and I am sucked in, and Luke, Han, Vader, and you're just like, "This." This is everything, and I've been a fan ever since. I watched the re-releases when they came out in theaters in the mid 90s, and then watched the prequels with, well, more enjoyment now than a little bit at the time. But I mean, you still have those epic moments of Duel of the Fates, John Williams composing with Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon versus Darth Maul, and your jaw is hanging because you're just amazed watching this on screen. And it's just been an epic journey ever since. And I mean, my house has a ton of Star Wars stuff. My 1-year-old son, it has, I'm turning him rapidly into a Star Wars geek. He has his own stuff, that child that he hangs out with, that's his buddy. We've gone to the Galaxy's Edge up in Disney World. I built my own lightsaber. It's the life, man. It is the way.
It is the way. So as the Mandalorian would say, that is the way. And listen, it's awesome to hang out with with Star Wars geeks, and mind you, I've got two beautiful pieces of artwork behind me, painted by my good friend Derek Wilson, and I'm going to be giving away 5 prints. This show got a little wonky, but listen, I'm giving away 5 Barn Smoker VIP survival packs. So make sure you get your questions in. Ask Frankie Drinks or ask Mando Drinks, whatever you want. Ask the child drinks. Ask Baby Yoda drinks. Get those questions in, and I'm gonna throw in 5 prints from my collection for the winners. So you guys are gonna get a little bit of some beautiful, beautiful artwork by my good friend Derek Wilson. And we'll talk about that in a second. But listen, I'm going to go back to the Spaghett because you know what? I think all of you need to know how to make one. So I'm going to ask, Jedi Jack to throw up that how we make a Spaghett. So it's really easy. It's you need a bottle of Miller High Life. You need 1.5 ounces of Aperol or Campari, and then about a 1/2 ounce of lemon juice. And all you need to do is the following: take a little swig out of the bottle or two, or pour it out. And then what you want to do is pour your Aperol and lemon juice inside your bottle.
Pour
You
one out
don't
for my
need
home.
you don't need any cocktail glasses or nothing, man. This is like the world's best cocktail. So for those of you who are wondering, it's like an Aperol spritz, except that we've swapped out the Prosecco for Miller High Life, the champagne of beers. So go get one, because this is really, how we live, not only life, but the high life. So so listen, next up, I'm gonna welcome my man Kylo Davis.
Oh,
Kylo, what's happening, brother?
well, apparently some internet connection issues on my end, but I think we've got that figured out. So I'm back, baby. What's going on?
Well, you look good, you sound good. I'm super excited to have you on the show. You've got that Frankie Drinks hat on, and the storied hat, right?
The,
Um,
the story you've told a time or two.
Yeah, a couple times. I haven't told it on this show, but my man has definitely enjoyed his hat, and I appreciate that to the point where he's taken his engagement photos, and he's got his engagement photo, and to look closely, it's like, hey, he's wearing the Frankie Drinks hat. So I took that as an enormous honor. So the big question is, if I send you a Sticks and Sips hat, will you wear that for the ceremony?
Well, if I don't get it to the ceremony, there is rumor that we're doing another round of engagement pictures sometime in December or January.
Oh,
So
hey,
somewhere in that eternal collage of love, there will be a Sticks and Sips hat if one shows up. But you know,
of course. Listen, I'll make some calls. I know some people, and we'll get you something, lovely as we've got some new Sticks and Sips hats.
I was gonna say the real
Fresh.
question is how many parsecs will it take to get that hat here?
Somewhere in the vicinity of 12 or so.
Oof.
And if you're wondering, does that mean time or space? And the answer is yes. All right, so let's continue. So Kyle, tell everybody what you do for Drew Estate.
I'm one of the territory managers, or as some people like to call them, reps, for the Southeast. So if you are fortunate or unfortunate enough to live in Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, Kentucky, or some parts of Indiana, you may get to run into me.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome, man. So tell me a little bit about how you got started in the industry and then how you got started with Drew Estate.
Yeah, make a long story short, I was 19 years old. I was in college and had myself a quarter life crisis and didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. And the old saying is, do what you love. You never work a day in your life. Well, I loved cigars. And if I could do anything with cigars and I could make $1 doing it, I was going to be happy. The young and naive way of thinking that, oh, I don't need money. So I found a small boutique manufacturer in Virginia, Lynchburg, Virginia. And I got hooked up with him, started as an intern, and then worked my way up to a Southeast area rep for him. And I was a rep for him for about 4.5 years. Kind of made a name for myself in the Southeast and kind of ran into some people from Drew Estate. Long story short, they were hiring. They called me and asked for a resume, which I still don't believe y'all did that. Very, very fortunate there. And 4.5 years later, here I am still with Drew Estate. So it's been a wild ride.
Dude, it's listen, we've got all these great reps. We had our big our ladies of the leaf or ladies of the Liga episode where we were able to showcase so many of our lady reps. And we also get, have such amazing people representing our brand. And Kyle, you do an amazing job. And but I also hear that you are quite a Star Wars guy too.
Oh, I am. So that's an understatement. I had a virtual background earlier, and it was caused my internet to go down. But I'm a huge Admiral Akbar guy. That's
You don't say.
I wonder who would have thought that.
You don't say.
It's a trap.
It's a
I don't
trap.
know why, and people have asked me why I like Admiral Akbar so much. There's really no reason for it. It was a joke in high school that my friends and I used to say it's a trap a lot. And then as the years went on, I would just buy little bits of Akbar memorabilia here and there, which as a minor character, you really don't think there's a whole lot out there, but I'm up to like 50 odd pieces of Akbar memorabilia now. So
that sounds like a problem. That sounds like a problem, Kyle.
Kyle, this is an elaborate ruse. This is actually an intervention. We're here to talk to you about your squid problem. And, we really want to sit down. We care about you. We love you.
How do you feel about calamari?
It's good to eat. It's good to collect. What else could you want?
Listen, I've got it on some inside information that there's some stories about you.
Oh, you can't tell it on this channel. You can't.
And Mr. Joey on a trip you guys took together. So, listen, this is an informative, educational, and emotional show. So, I'm going to ask you if you can just give us just the parts that you can share.
Hey, whatever happens with Joey out on the road stays with Joey out on the road. That's all I got to say about this.
All right, but I'm not asking you, Joey.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
all right, let it rip, Kyle.
I mean, I just remember we ate a lot. Joey, is there a certain detail that we're supposed to not share or share?
I wouldn't share about running down the hallway butt naked at 2 a.m. I wouldn't tell him that.
Yeah, don't share that piece.
Well, when you
But
need ice, you need ice. You know.
I don't think they'll ever let me back at the Marriott ever again after that. Who knew they had all those cameras?
yeah, who knew? You know. So what else did you guys encounter on the road with Joey? Because he doesn't go on the road much, but Kyle, he did make that trip with you. So share a tidbit.
Well, I wanted to take Joey through the South, and usually when like Willie or Pedro or someone from the office travels with me, it's always about what are we going to eat? Because if you know the South, you know that we don't cut corners and we don't cut calories down here. It's all some of that good old soul food, butter, bread, and biscuits, And so I took Joey to Memphis. We got some really, really good fried chicken at Gus's. I took him down to Tupelo and Oxford, Mississippi, and we had a really good event with the good folks over at Spring Street Cigars in Tupelo. Shameless shout out to the good folks at Spring Street.
Always. We got to give everybody a shout out on this show.
And we had some really good shrimp and grits. And then we made our way across the northern side of Alabama and ended our trip in Huntsville with the good people at Cigar Room, and had just some knockout events. Really got to see some people, do a little politicking, shaking hands, kissing babies, all that good stuff. And
we ended up at the Waffle House.
We did, which is not necessarily a traditional Southern restaurant, but there are no rules.
At 2 a.m. the Waffle House will do.
Right.
And the thing that I learned on this trip was that in Huntsville, there's a good Waffle House, and then there's the bad Waffle House. You don't want to go to the bad Waffle House. You got to go to the good Waffle House.
There's a good and a bad Waffle House in every town, and they're usually right across the interstate from each other.
True.
You can throw a stone from the good one to the bad one, and vice versa.
Nice. So actually, I have a question for Kyle on this show. Is being a territory manager, you're a man of the people, in and out of stores, shaking hands, kissing babies, and all that. And so, what's been the biggest challenge for you, and how have you been through this whole episode of being kind of like this world of staring at screens with people, and doing your stuff?
Yeah, well, I learned early on that I was not meant for an office job. I liked variety. I liked seeing different things, different days, and not being stuck in, one location all the time. So that's been a little bit of a challenge. I'm very sociable. And so it's just kind of been like a learning curve, trying to get my retailers and my consumers, out of the shops and onto the computer. And we're trying to do the same thing that we do in a store, just virtually. So all of our events that always have huge turnouts, we're doing now virtually through Zoom, and we're able to do that by sending our shops, cigars and swag and other incentives. And we're still trying to make it as fun as possible for the shops and the end consumers, given the times that we live in. But it's funny, I bought a house, my first house in February, and I was really excited about it. First home, I'm becoming a real man over here. And little did I know that this house would kind of become like my prison over the last 7 months. I've seen the same 6 walls for 7 months, but it's great. Very fortunate with where we are as a company, and just a learning curve, but I am ready to get back out there when the time.
Oh, yes, we are.
Absolutely. So listen, Kyle, one of the things, as you are a man of the people, all right? So as a man of the people, how did you get into Star Wars?
It was something my dad, it was just on TV, and my dad's like, "Hey, you're old enough, come here and watch this." And just sat me down, and it was A New Hope. And then, it was a marathon. I think it was like a Thanksgiving marathon. And we just sat down and watched all of them. And honestly, ADD was strong with this one as a kid. And I just remember bright lights, flashing colors, and it was just fun to watch. And then as you get older, you realize that there's a story to it, and it's not just lightsabers and X-Wings. And you fall in love with the story. And I went and saw episode 1. When was it? 1999. Is that when that came out?
Yes, sir.
And I know that there's a lot of talk and debate on prequels, original trilogy. I got respect for all of it. I am myself a prequels fan. And when people ask me why, it's, you love the original trilogy because you grew up on it. The older generations grew up on it. It's the original. They saw it in theaters. Well, for me, I grew up on the prequels. Those are the ones that I experienced firsthand in theaters. It was a lot of nostalgia involved. Jar Jar Binks aside, they're great movies.
Kyle, tell me how you feel about sand.
It's coarse, gets everywhere.
Listen, Kyle, much respect to everybody and to the genre, that they jumped into Star Wars, and, I'll withhold my, my personal, opinions. But I'm going to jump to my man, Joey here, who just recently, on top of being recognized by local media for having one of the most amazing, of course, our director of global creative would have the most amazing Halloween experience at his home in Weston, Florida, and he has so been recognized by local media, and he dresses up in that ridiculous clown outfit. And I often tell him, hey, Joe, you really don't need the mask. Face is good enough. But I'm going to bring my man Joey in here, and let's talk about the love for Halloween, brother, because I know you love Halloween. We talked Star Wars, we talked Mandalorian. Let's talk a little bit about Halloween coming up on Saturday. What do you got planned?
Oh boy, I'll take off the mask so it's easier to hear me.
Yeah, please. Yeah, we enjoyed it though. We enjoyed it. Absolutely.
So yeah, Halloween is my Christmas. Some people love Christmas, get crazy for Christmas. I get crazy for Halloween. Halloween is the whole ball of wax. It's everything. I've been doing it for decades. I come from a town where Halloween was a very important holiday, and that was Amityville, New York. So Amityville, New York, for those who don't know, the horror house, but it was an old Victorian town. A lot of spooky old big trees and Victorian homes, and we did Halloween like over the top. So when I moved to South Florida, I still wanted to bring all of that with me. That whole we need to psychologically terrorize the children as much as we can on Halloween. So that's my job. And the clown, I didn't know when I first put on the clown mask and the costume that I put together. I didn't realize the horror that it instills in a certain segment of the population. People are genuinely creeped out to their core about clowns. And so I just ran with it, and we built this crazy clown graveyard in my house, and the neighbors go berserk, and I get like 1,000 people rolling through on a Halloween, and I give out onions and all sorts of other crazy stuff like cans of Spam and cup of noodles and fun stuff like that. That's it. Halloween is my Christmas. So I'm amped. I'm ready to go, and I can't wait. Can't wait.
So I'm going to ask you, for the COVID 2020 Halloween, what are you giving out? Vaccines? What's in the bag? Rutabagas? I mean, what do we got this year?
I have given out a rutabaga. I've given out every type of vegetable, especially root vegetables. Those are great. When you drop a root vegetable in a kid's bag, their eyes just light up. I mean, they can't believe it, So yeah, rutabagas, but onions is the staple. I mean, I've been giving onions away for over 10 years. The kids love it. The parents love it because after Halloween, they can make a stew and some other cool stuff with the onions I drop in there. So, but that's good,
So, any chance we can get like a meal kit like this year, like a little,
Well, I've given away a cup of noodles. I've given away ramen. I've done that. I've dumped entire bags of popcorn into kids' bags, but you know what it is? The kids, it's trick or treat, right? That's that big phrase on Halloween, trick or treat. And so, well, it's an option now. You're giving me the option, trick or treat. So it's trick with me all the time. Trick, 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 trick. That's all it is. No treats at all. Zero candy.
Are you dropping any cigars in the kids' bags? I mean, is there a chance I go by the house, I get an H99, something,
If you show ID, maybe.
All right.
Yeah,
That's a great response. That's a responsible response.
It is. If you show and you sign an affidavit, then you might get something like that. H99.
Joey's gonna have 4,000 people, including Rich Lies, show up to his house for Halloween this year now.
Yeah,
Well, you know what it is? Well, it is still Rich Lie's birthday, so I keep celebrating.
Listen, so Joey, I mean, I know, like, are you a Star Wars guy from the get-go?
Yeah, from the get-go. Look, I was 10 years old when Episode 4, the original one for everybody that's of my age, came out, and it was a game changer. It changed the whole world. And it was the movies, it was the toys. Oh my God, the toys were epic for Christmas after Christmas when those movies started rolling out. It was just never ending. And it was a great story. The story's just it's a timeless story. It's a battle of good and evil, but played out in the galaxy and all the different cast of characters and stuff like that. So yeah, Star Wars is an amazing thing. It's, there's 1,000 lines you can drop from all of these movies that have become part of our lexicon of just things that we do amongst people. We just throw phrases back and forth at each other. So that's no moon, that's a space station. It's like just iconic stuff like that just will live on, and it continues to live on. And now The Mandalorian, it is the way.
Well, listen, Joey has spoken, and one of the cool things is having the myth continue. And I know you got on The Mandalorian a little bit after everybody, and which was good because you didn't have to wait a whole freaking year, which part of me envies you. But now you're part of the conversation. And
yeah, well, now I know, like, now I remember, like, when we were in the office a year ago and Joe and everybody would come in the morning after an episode dropped and they'd be like rattling on and on and on about it, how amazing it was and all this other stuff that was going on. I was like, man, I need to get this thing. And then finally I did get it. I binge watched all the episodes inside of like 2 days. And it was amazing. It just sucks you right in. It's so well done. Kudos to Favreau for just being a genius, and his hand is all over it, and it's amazing.
And now you're going to suffer like the rest of us. One episode at a time.
One episode a week.
Just like that. Hey, it's kind of like Sticks and Sips.
One episode a week. Listen, we make you suffer one episode at a time. So, so for everybody tuning in, listen, this isn't just about like Spaghett and the child, Baby Yoda, for those of you that are uninitiated, and tech issues. I'm sending this back, Amazon. But more importantly, listen, we have like a beautiful cigar, which to me, I want to talk a little bit about, because I think we got people that are big Deadwood fans. And listen, Kyle, man, what do you think of, we're talking about Deadwood, as the umbrella, right? But, I've got Leather Rose right here. So amazing, man. And we had such a great response. How's the response in your area been?
I mean, if we could make 6 billion boxes tomorrow, we would sell 6 billion boxes tomorrow.
By the way, I've got a full box. If any of you, your people.
Good. I've got it sold already.
I will not take Imperial credits though. Thank you.
But no, I mean, there's been a huge response to Deadwood. I mean, Deadwood, who would have thought that this brand, 3 years ago was going to be what it is now? I mean, it was semi-popular to begin with, and it just continues to grow exponentially year after year. And it seems like if there's anything that says Deadwood on it, it's fine. Everyone's going to love it. And I love Deadwood because it's one of those brands that the size changes the way it smokes. The size is everything.
Absolutely. Listen, I'm going to ask Jack over there to throw up that beautiful, like we're talking about a beautiful Brazilian Maduro wrapper, and just a beautiful construction of the cigar, and the Vitola being just a driving force for the blend. And people constantly go like, what's the difference between a Leather Rose, a Crazy Alice, a Fat Bottom Betty? And it's like when you try to explain the role of the Vitola, are most people getting it just yet?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, Kyle.
There's definitely guys who have their favorites, and they don't necessarily always know why. but they know, they know that they like the Betty the most, or they know that they like the Jane, or, oh, there's just something different about the Alice, but they just can't put their finger on it. And I think that's kind of the mystery and the fun, is you don't know exactly why you like something, but you gotta keep exploring it and figuring out why it's so good to you.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. So good, with the spaghetti or hobo Negroni, but with a whiskey as well. And I'll prefer a great bourbon with it. There's just so much flavor happening with it. Joe, what are your thoughts on Deadwood?
I mean, Deadwood's everywhere. You see this when we launched Leather Rose on Freestyle Live. It took over. I never saw just the excitement that people were clamoring for before they came out. I mean, first of all, Joey, you knocked it out of the park. This band, she is a stunner, and she is just, it's killer. But the smoke, she's a spicy smoke. Like you said, I love pairing it with bourbon. It really goes well. The spice off the Leather Rose just really like amples out, especially if you do it with like an E.H. Taylor. That is just, that's the way to go. And what we've seen after the fact is just, it's Deadwood mania. Everyone, like Kyle says, posting their favorite girl, what they like about the size. But Leather Rose just really has captivated people. It's something about just it's the how it smokes, in that torpedo, or just her backstory. She used to rob banks, and she lived a life before she came back to Deadwood, South Dakota. And you know what, it's pretty interesting, and I think people really are identifying with it, and they're captivated by it. So
Yeah,
it's just
it's you know what it is. It's a continuation of the counterculture. It's those outlaws, those bad women of the West. It's the whole thing, man. It's such an approachable cigar for every type of smoker to enjoy. Someone that's new to cigars to someone that's seasoned, that smokes a lot of more traditional stuff. This is a great change of pace cigar. It's a cigar that when you light it up in a room, everybody in that room goes, "Wow, what is that?" And that's really when you know it's something special. Because when people go, "Whoa, what's that? I want to know about that. Give me a handful of them."
Right.
And then it's off. And then you're gone.
So Joey, I'm gonna dial it back to you here. Coming back to the Deadwood. I mean, what drove the creative energy behind Deadwood? Before Leather Rose,
Oh
going
yeah,
right back to the very beginning.
yeah. So the beginning was with, of course, Vaughn Boyd, who was the owner at the time of Deadwood Tobacco, and we were making a cigar for her, just for her, and it was basically released right around the time of Sturgis every year, and we were doing that for a couple of years. In one year in particular, we came out with two different blends, and one we gave the name Sweet Jane, the other one was Plain Jane, and there's still a few of them floating around out there in somebody's humidor probably, and then for Sweet Jane, like the next year, everybody was like, "Oh, we got to just do the Sweet Jane," and so, I don't know why, it was just one of those things. I just gravitated towards the Dia de los Muertos kind of theme, as part of that biker. It's weaved into biker culture and stuff like that. So it just seemed to make sense. And then just from there, it's snowballed on, and Vaughn kicking back stuff with me and JD and the team about different girls, and there's actually a lot of legends behind some of these girls if you look them up online, and it's great. It's a fun story. It takes you to a different place. So when you're smoking, you go to a different place when you're smoking it. It's nice.
Well, listen, one of the things is, as we're heading into Day of the Dead, and and we're talking about sugar skulls, and it kind of crosses over into that so deeply. It's like, what other cigar would we pair for this holiday, right? For Halloween, Day of the Dead. I couldn't think of anything better than our Deadwood brand, bringing in the sugar skulls makeup. But not only that, just like the profile, where it's sweet, it's spicy, it's flavorful, and it kind of encapsulates everything that we're kind of coming to a head here. Halloween, Day of the Dead, Star Wars, so much lore that's coming together. And listen, if you guys haven't gotten your hands on a Leather Rose, or it's been a while since you've had a Deadwood, run out and get some. I know there's not a lot of retailers have any Leather Rose left, but I'm sure there's somebody out there So speak up, you guys on the chat. If you know where to find some, share the wealth. We got my man Joey over there. Listen, Joey, it is Day of the Dead coming up, man. So, this is the Mexican holiday where, celebrate our, everyone that's passed on to the other world.
You got to break out
And,
your Ouija boards. Break out your Ouija board on Halloween or Day of the Dead.
There
That's
you go.
the time to do it.
But more importantly, is part of that Mexican culture that, it's not about sadness, it's about celebration. And you're celebrating with something special there. And what are you celebrating with?
Del Maguey La Milpas. It's just another great, variety, single village from them. Del Maguey makes some amazing mezcal. You can't go wrong. Anytime you see the green bottle, you're going to get something really good. Go down the rabbit hole. Just make the jump and do it. I think a lot of people on Sticks and Sips who have watched this for the last couple months have been dabbling. They dip their toe into it, and they're like, oh, there's something to this. He's not just talking crazy.
Right. Do that laugh again. But this time as a clown. So, so people get it.
Wait, hold on. I got.
Yeah, you got to put the mask on, and you got to go in character. Give us a signature mezcal laugh. Here we go. So everyone, make sure you take your kids to Joey's house. Highly entertaining. So listen, guys. So all right. So Kyle, favorite scene from Star Wars, man. We're wrapping up this show. I want to go home, see if I can get some European downloads. On the Mandalorian.
You can't hold up this show yet, man. You got some questions to answer.
Oh no, man! I don't feel like answering no damn questions because I want to keep these Derek Wilson prints on my side, though.
These people want it.
These people want it. Oh man. Oh, Joey, you caught me again, man. Geez. I was trying to walk out of here with these great prints. So, listen, first up, my man, Andy St. Grimm. Congratulations. You won yourself a Barn Smoker survival pack, and you get this beautiful FN2187. So that's yours, courtesy of my personal collection from Derek Wilson, his beautiful art prints. And this one's called A Big Deal. So you got this one, Andy, and your question is, who do you think would win? Jango Fett, the prime candidate worthy enough to be cloned millions of times, or the Mandalorian, the last standing warrior, both fitted with Beskar armor and only limited by skill? Who will win? I'm gonna say, Joe, what do you think?
Oh, you coward.
Django versus, I'm gonna say my piece at the end.
I think I'm going to take a lot of heat for this, but I'm going to say right now, I think it's Django. I mean, look, Django went toe to toe with Obi-Wan for a good minute there. When he's sitting there and he's going, yeah, it's rain, and yeah, he's got a little bit of the upper hand, but he did pretty good. Mandalorian, Din Djarin is still coming into his own. I mean, right now we don't know what his end potential is, and he's got his butt saved by a 50-year-old little child right a few times. So I don't know. I'm going Django at the moment.
All right, Kyle, what do you think?
I'm going to agree with Joe only because we don't know enough about the Mandalorian yet. Joe makes a good point. He took on Obi-Wan, and Darth Maul couldn't even do that, and he's a Sith Lord. So I'm gonna go Django for now, but hit me back with season 3 and we'll know more by then.
All right, Joey, you got an opinion?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Do I have an opinion? Freaking millennials. What, you don't have enough of the Mandalorian to go on? You have more screen time of Mandalorian than you do of Django. Mandalorian is badass, and he will find a way. Mandalorian.
All right. So, to even it up, and I'm going to say the Mandalorian because we haven't found out his full potential just yet. Though I respect Jango Fett there as being the model of the clone army. But as we know, Clone Army weren't all that. So I'm gonna poke a
Whoa,
hole in your argument.
whoa.
No, you need to
You're
relax.
Frank. You're about to step on some toes here, and I
No,
think Kyle, we're about to come through the screen. You're talking crap about Captain Rex. You're talking.
That's not all the Clone Army. That's only a piece of the Clone Army.
I'm just saying.
Relax, man. Relax. Don't get insulted.
They
You
beat
know,
the
we
droids.
got lots of questions here, you know. This isn't the question you're looking for. So let's move on. So Jason Ojeda, congratulations. You win a Barn Smoker Survival Pack and you get this beautiful Son of Solo, a beautiful Kylo Ren by my man Derek Wilson. So congratulations, man. So he asked Joey, can we put the child on a cigar band? And Joey?
No.
No.
And
But-
I don't even have a law degree.
but if you guys are tuning in, we may not put a child in the cigar band. We can't put a band on a cigar child. All right. So anyway, let's moving forward. So Jason, congratulations, man. Nice question. That was a hard no. Anyway, next up, Joe Nagel. Congratulations. You win the Bart Smoker Survival Pack, and you get a badass Vader. You get this beautiful drip Vader. Congratulations. And Joe Nagel is asking Joe Grow. Joe Grow, what DE stick would you pair best with a High Life? Joe Grow.
Oof. I mean, I'm about that high life, as you know, as we're here. So for me, I mean, a high life's just easy drinking. You know, it could be a summer day. So I'm just going to go with one of my favorite sticks. It's the Norteño, Herrera Esteli Norteño. Give me that
Great call.
Lonsdale all day long. You got that San Andreas wrapper, that Honduran binder, Nicaraguan filler. I mean, that was one of my first Drew Estate loves. The Churchill is my all-time favorite cigar that we've ever made, and that's any cigar. It's just what Willie did with that blend, and in that box press, how it hits your palate. It's just refreshing. It hits all the right notes. So for me, that's what I would go with. That's how I live the high life, baby.
Well, look, I'm going to pop a new High Life here for everybody because it is a champagne of beers. And I know I've said that several times, but my boy that drives a truck over there, he
You
needs all
love
the
them
love he can
bubbles.
get. Kyle, what would you pair with the champagne of beers?
Well, first of all, I'm not. I didn't mix anything in here. So would you call this a neat High Life? If it's just as is.
Sure, man. You can call it whatever you want, man. You know.
I'm gonna go with Underground Shade, only because it's like the Shade. It's a lighter beverage with just the right amount of sweetness, and just it goes down smooth every time. You could probably drink this for breakfast with like a nice plate of eggs and be okay. Just like you could have a nice Underground Shade for breakfast with a nice plate of eggs and be okay, you know. Or you could end your night on it and be just as entertained.
Dude, that's amazing. You listen, Joey hasn't had a High Life in like about a decade. So, but Joey, if you remember having a High Life, what would you pair with it?
There's only one thing. Regret.
Is that what brand is that from us?
Yeah. Is that the factory smoke regret, or anyway? Listen, I'm gonna side with Jedi Joe on this one. Norteño is a great pairing for a Miller High Life. So congratulations. Next up, John Lemons, and congratulations, buddy. You get yourself a shock trooper, courtesy of my personal collection from Derek Wilson and Final Justice. That's your piece, buddy. I'm holding up for you. And your question: who is the coolest Star Wars character? Has the swag and the walk? Someone you would want to hang out with? And I'll start with Kylo.
You know what my answer is going to be.
Of
Jar Jar
course.
Binks. No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, Admiral Akbar, man, he's well thought, well spoken. He doesn't just jump into action. He comes up with a game plan. You know, Admiral Radis was a little more gung ho if you're talking other Mon Calamari. But like Adbar, like just kind of sit back and observe before he jumped into action. Plus, he's got them white sneakers and then the matching white pants and vest. I mean, that's some style right there.
That's some style, man. So, Joe Grow, what's your favorite?
So there's a difference, I'd say, in this question of who's your favorite and then who are you going to hang out with?
Oh, yeah.
Because, I don't know if I'm a Vader fan. I love Vader. I think he's awesome, but I think he also might get a little mopey. He's kind of got a lot of problems going on. Just, he's just going to be in a lot of pain. He's going to bitch a lot, and then you could say, well, Yoda. But I feel like after 20 minutes of hanging out with Yoda, I'm going to get pissed off. He's going to be sitting there, do or do not, there is no try. Motherfucker, I'm just trying to open this beer. I need a little help. You've got a bottle opener. And he's giving me lessons. So I think if I'm going to hang out with somebody, I'm going to have some fun. I'm going to have some adventures. I think I'm going to go Han Solo on this one. I think, he and I were going to get into some stuff. We're going to have a couple of drinks afterwards. We're going to be out running the huts probably for half of it. But I think that's going to be that's going to be the most fun. I'm going to have the most enjoyment.
Gotcha. Joey.
Joe, here's an expansion to your answer.
Yes,
Are we
sir.
talking Solo from the movie Solo, like the prequel, like young Solo, or like old Solo?
I like middle-aged Solo. You gotta get middle-aged Solo. Look, you got old Solo. He's had Kylo. He has some regrets. He's still doing his thing, but it's just a little beat up at that point. He's lived a life. Young Solo, he's brash. He's cocky, but he's more likely to get me killed. I'm going middle tier, middle age. Original trilogy Solo. That's the best way. That's the best of both worlds.
That's fair.
Gotcha. Joey, who you hanging with?
Yeah, I mean, Solo, that's probably the obvious one for a lot of people, but I don't like hanging out with people that are a little kind of above the board too much. He floated underneath the line a little bit, but he was still mostly above board. I like hanging out with ruffians. I like hanging out with guys that are a little bit more rough around the edges, a little more crude, but people with connections. People that have connections is always good. So I'd hang out with Watto.
There you go.
My man.
There you go.
Watto's
Watto.
the guy. I mean,
that's awesome.
just hanging out, shooting a couple back, not a care in the world. Whatever you need, you got it.
Well, I'm gonna give you mine. If I was to hang with somebody, like my favorite character is that dude right there, Boba Fett. But listen, he's all business, man. If I'm gonna hang with somebody, I'm gonna hang with Lando. Because you know what? Hanging with Lando, man, we're gambling and drinking and hanging out with the fine ladies. That's who I want to hang out with.
And the Colt 45.
And the Colt 45, yes. So it'll be no offense, Donald Glover, love you, bro. It's a Billy D. Williams, Lando. So that's who I'd hang with. So great question. Last question we got, Richard Palsha, most memorable Halloween. And guess what, buddy? You win the Darth Maul. So congratulations to you. You're gonna get the Barnsmoker Survival Pack plus the Darth Maul. Congratulations to everybody. Most memorable Halloween. Let's start with you, Joe.
Oof. This is tough. I mean, there's a lot of different Halloweens. We've had the ones with scares. You had a lot of different, a lot of fun costumes. I gotta say, last year though, it was my son's first Halloween. And my wife came up with this cool costume where he was dressed up as a shark. I'm a lifeguard, and she has a bite just taken out of the side. And we just, we did the first thing, the Halloween. She did this crazy makeup. It was hilarious. It was fun. That's got to be my most memorable. I mean, I know it's a little weak. It's not like the, Joey's Tales of Horror, where he's literally scared 800 children who have now are in therapy. But it was just still the most fun for me.
Kylo, what you got?
Man, we weren't really necessarily always big on Halloween in my house, but this was probably like 5th or 6th grade. It was like my last Halloween going out, and my best friend and I dressed up as the Blues Brothers. And we at that point it was like our first Halloween on our own. There were no parents, and we would just keep going back to the same houses that were giving out like size candy bars, and we would like take off like articles of like the Blues Brothers costumes. So like we were like Jehovah's Witnesses, or we were the Blues Brothers, or and like, you know, the parent wasn't going to say no, so we just kept like scamming houses, and I think that was my favorite.
That's awesome. Joey, what you got, man? What set you down this nefarious path?
Oh, but favorites. So favorites was a couple years ago. I forgot, maybe 3 years ago, when Halloween Horror Nights up in Orlando was going on, and it was the big clown themed year for Crazy Clowns, and I was invited to be a one of many clown crazies that ran amok through the theme park, scaring people. So that was my high point.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You know, my favorite memory was actually my kids being small. We had taken them up to the Disney, whatever, not so scary Halloween, driving back home, listening to the radio, hearing that we were going to get destroyed by Hurricane Wilma. I got home, did the laundry, packed up the bags, and headed right back north for another like 5 days of not so scary Halloween. And if anybody's been ever put through that torture, man, that is truly frightening. My most frightening Halloween ever. 5 days of not so scary at Disney. So that must my favorite memory at the end of the day. So listen, we got to the end of a Sticks and Sips. Started a little rough, but thank you to everybody that tuned in, and super excited that you were part of it. I want to thank my special guests, Mr. Joe Grow, Mr. Kyle Davis, Mr. Joey Drew, who's gonna do the outro. Just hang on. So, you know, listen, I want to thank everybody out there, the entire marketing team, led by my man JD out there. And everybody that's making Sticks and Sips possible, making all those VSSEs possible. Listen, tune in next week. I don't know what I got cooking, but just tune in. That's all that matters. My man Jack Hare, producer extraordinaire, and exec producer Joe Grow. He takes many roles. He's about to set his robe on fire with that lightsaber. And with that, Joey Drew is going to do a musical outro. So take us home, Puddles.
Clown Patrol to Major Tom. 6. Clown Patrol to Major Tom. 6. Have a happy Halloween, everybody.